Guys, this is a big milestone in my YouTube career and what I've dreamed about YouTube. I didn't expect Christian to actually reply to my request on getting in touch with him and having a nice chat about Pi, about YouTube, about life. And I was so excited that he actually accepted my invitation, and I really appreciate that, mate. He was and still is a real source of inspiration for me, and he's one of the guys who actually made me start YouTube. And even after discussing with him, I found out that we are so alike in so many different areas of our lives, and we share so many passions together. And I'm glad that I actually got the guts to contact him and see if he wants to sit down with me and have a little chat. And I'm very, very excited to share that chat with you guys. I'm really sorry I didn't manage to make my camera work on the Zoom call that I had with him, and you'll actually see that I'm a little blurry, but that's the less important thing. Important is what we chat about and the conversation we had about Pi Network and different other projects, and what and who actually Christian Rauchenwald is. And please give him some love. Join his channel in case you did not join yet, and make sure you help him reach that 100,000 subscribers, which is one of my goals as well, and obviously as a YouTuber probably everybody's goal. So without any further ado, please enjoy our conversation, and make sure you subscribe to our channels and stay tuned for all the projects that we're presenting and everything else that we share, and our opinions on different projects that we share together. And why not pick the brain of everybody who's sharing something that is in your interest. And me and Christian, I find that we share so much things together. So enjoy. First of all, Christian, I can't pronounce your surname. I've studied 12 years German. It's Rauchenwald.
No problem,
It's the only way I can pronounce it.
Yeah, it's Rauchenwald. Yeah, so
Rauchenwald. Yeah. So now, thank you very much for offering me this opportunity. I've been studying you, to be honest, for more than a year now, I think, and I'm quite impressed with the content that you put on. And obviously, because I was kind of looking at every single video that you post, and reading all about you, I knew that somehow you've moved to Kiev and you live there. I'm not sure you live there anymore, but probably you can develop that a little bit. And I wanted to see and understand a bit how that impacted you, impacted your YouTube channel, and pretty much impacted your life. Just from a YouTube perspective, obviously, I don't want to bring any sort of geopolitical issues on here. But I only wanted to know and understand a bit who you are and how is your life changed since the war between Ukraine and Russia, obviously.
yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me. And yeah, it's I don't know, probably a complicated topic overall. I have to say first and foremost that my wife and I, we were very lucky because on the night when Russia invaded Ukraine, we actually were already in Germany. So I always had a residency here in Germany since 2017. And I had to come here to deal with some paperwork. And so we turned it into a short vacation. And then, yeah, one morning woke up in the hotel and, oh, we cannot go back home. Kind of sucked. We also thought a little bit ahead and at least took our essential papers with us. So marriage certificate, birth certificates and stuff like that. But we didn't bring our recording equipment because that obviously takes more space. And it kind of yeah, so we were lucky. We work online. Obviously, our YouTube channel is one source of income for us, but we also have other sources of income, and all of them are online and only require us to have our laptops with us. But in the end, so for us, what changed? Yeah, I mean, we wanted to move to Germany anyway later this year, and would have done that then in a slow way, you know, like first plan, find a moving company. Instead of that, we were forced to look for an apartment, buy furniture, buy a used car, and so on, and deal with a lot of stuff that we actually wanted to deal with later. So it cost us a ton of money. Overall, by now, like everything to get settled and so on, and eventually also to rent a trailer, drive to Kiev to clean out our apartment there and so on. So overall, like it cost us like $20,000 or so to get it all done. We couldn't publish during the time because, first of all, we were not in the right mindset to do it. So, and we didn't have our camera equipment or our computers for editing with us. So, but other than that, as I said, like I consider consider that we are mostly fortunate because, without going too much into the whole war and stuff, but if we consider the millions of refugees from Ukraine that were like had to leave the country or left the country, and with that also left their jobs and source of income, and are now in some other country only relying on some minor social payments without having anything to do. Where for us, it basically was just like an administrative annoyance, I would say. Yeah. So, like in terms of YouTube, the only thing, so we weren't able to publish. Therefore, my views and the revenue on my channel went down. And additionally, my wife Irina also has her own YouTube channel, and it used to be basically same content but in Russian.
Yeah,
and
I've seen
since
that.
Google demonetized Russian viewers, so they don't see ads anymore, and you as a creator don't get money anymore, it kind of, like, from that perspective already didn't make sense for her to publish anymore. But additionally to that, because that Russian invasion took away our home and the home of a lot of other people, we also decided we don't want to do anything that in any way helps people in Russia to make more money or profit. So so as a result, we shut down or stopped publishing on her YouTube channel. Yeah. So although the revenue from that channel was also not that big, but still, so that's pretty much the YouTube impact. So less publishing, therefore less views, less revenue, and one channel that we shut down. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it sounds quite bad, and I'm impressed you've got the courage to go in Kiev and collect stuff while everything is happening there.
Well, it was like, I think it was a month ago or so. So already after the Russian army withdrew from around Kiev. And so we already knew that it's like safe enough to go there. To be fair, the trip there would be a separate video, because it literally, from the point of getting a trailer that we can rent to drive into a current war zone, in quotes,
I know.
to Polish customs, to driving there, to getting gasoline in Ukraine, and so on. So it was like from Monday to Friday a trip, and Monday to Friday driving total like 3,000 kilometers or so, or a little bit more. So it was an experience on its own, and quite a taxing one. But yeah, it also was necessary. You know, like, one of the things was our landlord in Ukraine. She used to be on vacation when the invasion started, and she then also got stuck in Germany. And she's not some super wealthy woman or so, but she's, for Ukrainian standards, doing okay. But still, so while we were in Germany, for example, we had to pay, first of all, the rent here for our new apartment, and second of all, we still paid the rent for our apartment in Kiev. Yeah, and so that's another $1,000 per month just going poof for nothing. So the point was like, okay, the sooner we can go there, obviously only if it's safe, but the sooner we can go there and pick up our things, first of all, we have then all our recording equipment again, and so on. And second of all, we don't have to pay that $1,000-something every month anymore. Yeah. So
okay, no, that's thank you for sharing that. It's not an experience that people should probably experience in their lifetimes, but I'm glad you've been through it, and I see that you manage physically and probably in your mind to go through it, and that's impressive. I wanted to ask, can you and your wife now, because I know, and I've looked through her channel, even though I don't understand lots of Russian. My wife is from a Russian side, funny enough, and she kind of understands some Russians. She was born in Moldavia, and I wanted to see, can somebody like you, Christian, with your channel, with your audience, with everything that you publish, with your views, can you quit a 9-to-5 job and only kind of live a decent life through YouTube?
It's another tricky question, to be honest. Like, so if we would take the current YouTube earnings alone, which, by the way, I'm going to share some screenshots with you, so you have the actual numbers at hand, and you can also include them then in the video if you want. So if we take the current YouTube earnings, definitely not, because right now, after the views dropped with us not being able to publish and so on, we're actually now looking at around like $900 per month in revenue. Yeah. And in additionally to that, we actually have a separate legal entity in the US that we registered last year when YouTube introduced their 30% withholding tax on all the earnings that you make outside of the US. So back then, so last year we made, I think, I don't have the pictures or the screenshots in front of me right now, but I think the exact number is $54,000 that we made from YouTube alone. So with that amount of money, yes, you could live from it. Yeah. If we then consider that we pay around, let's say $250, $300 per month to maintain the entity in the US.
Yeah.
And other than that, don't have a lot of YouTube related expenses. So it would work. But I mean, if the goal would be to live from the YouTube channel, I would make a different approach to it. You know, like over the last couple of years, I maybe on average spent 10 hours per week working for the YouTube channel. If I would have considered it like let's say 20 hours at least, or maybe 30 hours, or maybe even like a full-time job with 40 hours per week, obviously we would have published more and our earnings would have been bigger. So that's one side of the coin. So with the current size of the channel, if I would consider it a full-time gig and actually put in those hours, definitely we could live from it. And the second side of the coin is the topic selection. So if you look at my channel, you see that many of the videos with the highest number of views are actually about Pi Network. So if it would have just been about milking the cash cow in quotes, I just could release one new video about Pi Network every week and we would make a lot more money. But since I try to keep updates on all the projects that I've shared or covered in the past and so on, and I think that's more important than covering every minor text message that the Pi Core team posts or something, you end up with content that also doesn't attract that many viewers. So
no,
so it's kind of like a channel. If you have like I right now have 79,000 subscribers or so, you definitely could live of it, but not with like 10 hours per week. You would need to put in a little bit more time, probably not 40 hours per week, but somewhere in the middle, let's say 20, 25 hours per week. Publish more, and then you have to make the hard choices. Choice number one, do you publish what you actually think your audience will benefit from? Or do you just publish what gets you the most views? And choice number two would then be sponsorships. Yeah. So if you consider at some point you start getting emails like from, in our case, from crypto exchanges, also from completely random products that have nothing to do with crypto, that ask like if you can create a sponsored video. Yeah. And where if you accept all of them or most of them, you make a lot of extra money from those sponsorships, but you give, in my opinion, you give away credibility. Yeah. Like, without naming specific channels, but there is one channel that has a similar niche or topic that I'm covering, and that in between then posts a video talking about stock for some, what was it, plutonium, no, not plutonium, like some heavy metal manufacturing or processing company, and that the stock is great as a sponsored video. So obviously he made money with that because it's a sponsored video, so he got at least $1,000, probably more, for making the video. But on the other hand, like, you have to, or everyone has to decide them for themselves if they feel comfortable with like lending their name or their face to something they don't really believe in, especially if it doesn't fit to the channel itself. And last but not least, besides the YouTube earnings, one obviously has to consider the referral revenue, which is like a huge part. So like a lot of the things we do in general in all parts of our business are affiliate or referral marketing. So I cover projects or software or platforms that I'm using myself. And when then users sign up for that, we either get one-time or recurring commissions. And if we take, for example, another crypto-related project, Hi.com, from the former CMO of Crypto.com and so on, that launched last year in May, even though their own token fell from $1.40 to right now 7 cents per token, just the referral rewards that we got there are right now worth around $100,000. So if we consider those, I mean, if we consider the referral rewards that you can get on top if you promote certain things, or if you just share the things you use and the things you like, it makes it even more likely that you can live of it. And there are some things like you mentioned, you've seen all or at least most of my videos. So if you think about the bandwidth sharing apps, which in my opinion are like, if your channel is anywhere in the direction of passive income or helping people, it's like one of the best things to talk about and promote, because you literally help people to make some extra money without effort. Just install the app, run it, and then enjoy the whatever $100 per year, $20 per year that you get for pretty much doing nothing. And from all those users, you get 10% referral rewards, like, which in our case, for example, for the most prominent bandwidth sharing app, Honeygain or so, there we make around $200 to $300 per month just from our referral rewards. Yeah.
Oh,
So obviously it wasn't like this initially, but over time you have more users that sign up after watching your videos about it. And some of them stop using it because in their country they cannot earn enough, or they just don't appreciate getting $20 every year. Yeah. But some users keep using it because they're happy with the payouts, and with that your referral revenue also keeps growing. Yeah. And so yeah, making it a tricky question if quitting a 9-to-5 job with YouTube is possible or not, because in the end, yeah, like you still have to put in the time. But I would definitely recommend everyone to start a YouTube channel. If you don't have any other business ideas or talents, a YouTube channel is the way to go. It's like all you need to get started is your phone to record, and yeah, then maybe some editing software at some point, and you just need to cover something you are passionate about.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've decided to start a YouTube channel, and I've been thinking about it for probably 15 years now. And I finally decided to do it.
You know, the nice thing about YouTube, in my opinion, is it doesn't really matter what your topic is. So if it's cooking, if it's like, there's a huge YouTube channel that is lock picking. It's the lock picking lawyer or so. Like he has like thousands of videos with a lot of views on each, where it just shows how to pick different locks. Yeah, and you don't even see him. You just see his hands and how he does it and explains it. Yeah. Or I don't know, if you like playing chess or computer games. So like, no matter what you enjoy, YouTube is something everyone can do. The only thing it takes is like consistency, so publishing in regular intervals ideally, and yeah, like endurance to basically make it through the first 6 months to 1.5 years until you reach the 1,000 subscribers and the watch time, so you start to get paid. And after that, if you keep going, you actually just go up. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have like a forced publishing break like we had. And yeah, and I mean, the third part should go without saying is obviously learning. So like, it's interesting, a little bit off topic actually on topic. At the time when I started this YouTube channel, another guy I know from some Facebook groups started publishing as well. And he's still publishing, but he just publishes the same crappy content more or less over and over. And he hasn't learned anything along the way. So he didn't figure out that, like, I don't know, like you should put more effort into your thumbnails and so on. Yeah. And so his channel is still not monetized after all this time, but he still keeps publishing. His videos have on average like 20 or 50 views, while my channel over time kept growing. Yeah. And I'm also making a lot of mistakes on our channel. And initially I made even more. But so the big point is learn from what's not working. So do something and constantly try to improve. Doesn't matter if it's in terms of improving your equipment for better quality in recording itself, or if it's improving the way you make your videos, like how you structure them, different thumbnails, different video titles, how they affect the click-through rates and so on. And if you like constantly try to improve little things, in the end, it just grows, and eventually you have an income through YouTube. Plus, in most cases, you can combine it with some referral marketing. So even if you were talking about picking locks, for example, you could, for example, always link to the lock on Amazon or to the lock picking tools, and you would get a commission from there. So yeah.
No, that's great. That's great insights. Yeah. I mean, I know you have a different side hustle. I mean, probably your main job, the software company, which is something that probably keeps you more engaged than trying to post more often and trying to grow your YouTube, because you probably double down on the videos that you actually make a lot of views and probably have a good life out of YouTube. No, I appreciate the thoughts.
It's actually, in our software business, which is an add-on for another software to be precise, there we also use YouTube, because for all the features that our software has, as said, since it's an add-on for another software, I create tutorials that are like, okay, how can I do this with that other software? And then I show how it works with our add-on. And more than 30% of our users actually come or sign up after watching one or more of our tutorial videos. So even there, YouTube is great. It's like a great way for free marketing for your own product or service or company. So
okay.
But yeah, in terms of revenue, it's pretty much the majority of the money we make comes from our software business. And it's simply, since it's a subscription-based business, it's more consistent. It doesn't matter like if some topic is relevant right now or not. Like you have a certain number of subscribers, and 1 month you might lose a few. Next month you have a couple new ones. But you can plan better. But overall, I'm passionate about both. So I like all the crypto projects, and I actually, I like helping people to some extent. So in terms of showing them ways how they can actually improve their life with little effort. So it's funny, that in our Discord community or comment section on YouTube and so on, that some people act as if I would be such a guru and would know that much about all those crypto projects and so on. When the only difference is that when I find a new project, I take the time to actually read the white paper, or to look around in the app, or
I
maybe
do the same,
to look for, the privacy policy, to figure out the company name and in which country they are registered. And then I just Google whatever, like let's say it's a company registered in Hong Kong, then I Google Hong Kong company register, and then I enter the company name there to figure out who owns the business and so on. So to just get a little bit more information about it. So basically what I'm doing most of the time is something everybody else could do, but most people, they're their own worst enemy. They tell themselves, oh, it's so complicated, I cannot do it. So
no, that's great. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. I'll probably move on to a very interesting topic, which is a topic on my channel, and it's something that you probably kind of started on YouTube. To be honest, I'm not sure if there were anyone else on YouTube to start talking about Pi Network. But I know there's a lot of buzz around it, especially these days, and you are probably one of the biggest shareholder of the company, I would say, because you've got so many referrals, and I've seen it. I mean, I wanted to ask the question, and I've seen it in one of your latest videos. You've got millions of coins, and it's like, maybe you can share how many coins you've got, and out of your coins that you've got, if you don't mind telling us how many you've actually managed to migrate into the mainnet in case you passed your KYC.
So in terms of Pi Network, I'm not sure if I was the first on YouTube to cover it, but that would be another tip for people starting their YouTube channel. Take the time to reply to all of your comments, because I only learned about Pi Network because somebody in the comments to another video asked, please check it out. And then the next person asked, please cover it in a video. So I figured, okay, there's demand. So I looked at it, signed up, and created the videos. As for my balance, that's something that's kind of like I have a lot of coins, definitely, or I will have a lot of coins. But the problem is, like, while the app shows 3.49 million coins right now, which is obviously an insane amount. In my Pi wallet right now, I have 2,472 Pi, because obviously everybody only gets, right now everybody only gets the Pi coins that they mined themselves or earned themselves, plus from their security circle, but you don't get any referral earnings right now. And now when it comes to the referral earnings, it's actually a little bit tricky, because while I have a total of, I don't know, I mean, the display is not long enough to show it, but it's around 32,000 referrals, which is insane. I admit that, and I'm like, one hand proud of it, on the other hand, it's like, but right now only 2,951 are active, so that's less than 10%. So
it's the same with mine.
And if we assume now that only 10% are active, and again, it's less than 10%, it would mean that at best I would get like 350,000 Pi out of those 3.5 million. I mean, it's still an insane amount. Actually, I estimate that it's less, because I'm not sure if that makes sense, but if we have 100 users that join initially, and then some of them drop off, but some sign up new. So so basically the amount that I actually get, or it will not be 10%, but it or most likely will be less than that. And that makes it a little bit hard to calculate. It would still be a lot, but and
it probably won't be the 3 millions that you've got there.
But probably still one of the biggest wallets around there. So even if I only get 100,000 Pi or so, considering that the average user has around between, let's say, 1,000 to 3,000 Pi, so it still will be a ton of coins.
I mean, I'm not sure how much you check Reddit, but you're one of the beasts that people are talking about. Is this wallet real? Is this guy actually having that many coins?
I am on Reddit from time to time, but my problem there for me personally is it's something I'm working on, but I haven't mastered yet. It's like I take things personally very fast or too much
Okay.
sometimes, yeah. And it's then like when, it's like haters gonna hate. Yeah, yeah. So you have
Absolutely.
people that appreciate it and that appreciate, for example, well, I get, let's say, 300,000 coins in the end, but me getting those 300,000 coins also means that thanks to my content, there are
Absolutely.
thousands of other pioneers that joined that helped the network to grow, and that those thousands already, I don't know, invited tens of thousands and so on.
Absolutely.
So like, yeah, I follow social media or Reddit and the Pi Network subreddit and so on, but I'm not very active there because it's always like, yeah.
I know. I mean, that's how I feel it as well. It's probably the place where you can get the most hate, I would say. I think the audience on YouTube is a bit more different because they actually appreciate you sharing some information from which they can benefit in some
Yeah, I
sort.
mean, you also have haters on YouTube. It's especially if you're a woman, since my wife has her own channels or had, so we know that. But it's, you also have haters there. Like, I mean, like that call whatever, like that say, yeah, you're only promoting scams and that's worthless
Yeah.
and this is worthless and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, I mean, what can you do? But so on YouTube, I deal with it because YouTube is part of our business. On other social media, I just like try to not be too active, to simply yeah, like to not get too frustrated or too hung up or waste too much time having discussions with people that anyway have their mindset and will not admit that they are wrong or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It is what it is, isn't it? I'll go with the next question about Pi. Do you think that we're going to have like a functional ecosystem by December this year, and we're going to actually have like a marketplace inside of the Pi browser in which you can
I'm
start?
not sure. I'm not sure if we will have a working marketplace within the Pi browser application. So that's going to be, yeah, we'll have to see. But there definitely will be something like there used to be the Pi lifestyle community and similar communities that are also covered in my videos. So where people
Yeah,
already were using Pi to trade. So there will definitely be some commerce and transactions going on. I think the big question is there, will there be enough products and services available? So, and especially also, will there be enough like, yeah, it doesn't have to be high end or luxury products or services, but at least reasonable quality. So will there only be cheap stuff like you could order from AliExpress or Wish or whatever? Yeah.
yeah,
Or will there be a decent mix? What I would love to see personally would be some kind of eBay that runs on Pi only. So where people could literally list a new and used item, other people could then bid their Pi for it. But yeah, if we will see some platform like this by the end of this year, it's really hard to say, because by now only around, or not even half, the pioneers got their KYC chance. So there is still 16 million or more pioneers that have to
yeah,
wait to even get
absolutely.
KYC and so on. So it will still take some time, but I'm confident there will be some transactions going on and there will be some kind of value established. Yeah.
No, that's good to hear from you. I mean, I share kind of the same timeline for them to actually start having some sort of transactionable and maybe a startup value for the coins. And as you shared, probably an eBay sort type of platform would be amazing, on which you can actually start selling bits and only trade in Pi. That would be amazing. Which probably will cover my last question for the Pi, and maybe for this short interview, if I can call it interview. It's more like a chat, and I appreciate that. What would you like to see as being part of the ecosystem, and what would you like to trade your massive amount of Pi coins at?
That's another evil question. So what would I like to see? I mean, there the answer is the same as before, like a platform like eBay, where like, yeah, companies or vendors can sell new goods, whereas regular users also can list their used goods. For me personally, what would I spend my Pi on? There's actually nothing right now that I would consider spending it on, to be fair. I mean, depending on if there are some apps in the Pi browser where we can use our Pi and what use case they have, I will use some of my Pi. So I've locked up 90% for 3 years, and the
Okay.
other 10% I plan to use, but not necessarily to use because I want to use them, but to basically support and show that the ecosystem works. Yeah.
I agree.
And for the rest, I don't have much reason to use any of our Pi, because luckily enough, we have what we need. So in terms of like what we, yeah, like we have a nice apartment or a decent apartment. We have a 20-year-old car, but still a decent car. And so we have everything we need, yeah. And our revenue from YouTube and our software business and affiliate marketing, all that stuff is more than enough to cover our bills. So there's not much reason for me to touch any of our crypto. So, and that's why, like, for the projects I believe in, I just hold.
Okay.
And there, the speculation is that over time, obviously, with more use cases and so on, the value increases. So it's more of like, instead of spending it now for something that I can also pay with cash, holding it for longer, where it then hopefully has a higher value. Yeah. And if that were to change, if I would lose my belief in Pi or so, then I would obviously make a different decision and try to get rid of my Pi. But as long as things are moving the way they are, yes, it's slow moving, but there's consistent progress and everything looks very promising. I don't see any reason to sell any of our Pi. So might use a few, as said, to support the ecosystem and also to then create some content about for YouTube. But besides that, yeah, hodl all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think Pi Network is kind of setting up an example in the market with the Stellar protocols and everything, and having this type of cloud mining ish, if you can call it cloud mining, and sets up a very good example for all the projects which are coming and probably future projects in which they're going to probably apply the same algorithm. So I appreciate you supporting the network, and I think your channel supporting the network and all the others, us coming behind trying to support the network, is going to just help in future. So no, I really appreciate taking the time to answer my few questions, and probably hopefully we can manage to do this some other time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm up for it. Just let me know when and we'll find a time to follow up on this. Yeah, it's been my pleasure, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, it's always great when somebody admires or at least appreciates the work I put in for the YouTube
Absolutely.
content. So definitely been my pleasure. And yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much for watching the video that we just saw. As well, in case you find this type of conversation useful, make sure you like and subscribe to our channels, and obviously smash the like button of this video to share with it as many Pi network users and many other users of different networks out there. In case you want me to have a different conversation with somebody else, make sure you leave a comment in the comment area, and I'll try to get in touch with as many people as you like and then share different conversation on topics that you're interested in. And I hope that you enjoyed the video that you just saw. Thank you very much again for being here, and thank you for being part of my channel and my journey. See you later.